good shot. Oh my!
Here to celebrate Georgetown! The Georgetown Raiders are Buckland Cup champions!
The Trenton Golden Hawks, the R.W. Hewitt Cup champions, are going to Coburn.
Back to Minerva. Shot scores! And the Coburn Cougars are the Royal Bank Cup champions!
Evans bunting, they score! Frank Poche, the game winner, and the Buckland Cup winner!
Well, North York looked home and cooled out against the Junior Canadians last weekend on the CHCH Game of the Week, but the JRCs had a surprise in store for them, pulling off an epic comeback. This is the OJ Today. Welcome back, everybody. This week, OJ broadcaster Alan Corkum joins me via Skype as we check in on the race towards the playoffs in each division as we head into the last month of the regular season. But first, OJ game highlights, and game 2 on the CHCH Game of the Week calendar featured the Toronto Junior Canadians hosting the North York Rangers. Now, North York has been dominant this season, runaway leaders in the South Division and ranked 7th nationally heading into this tilt. But the Rangers learned a very important lesson about not taking their foot off the gas when leading down the stretch. OJ highlights now brought to you by Hilton Hotels. Hilton, the official hotel of the Ontario Junior Hockey League. The Rangers have been a force this season, and they were heavy favorites coming into this contest. And started out as expected. First period, Josh Redinger unloads from the points behind Christian Mariachi to make it 1-0. Second stanza, they would add to it. The first stop is made here. Nobody clears out the rebound, though. Adam Panacci right there to pounce, and 2-zip Rangers. Mariachi, though, unquestionably the story of the day. 55 stops he made, none bigger than that one right there, as he stretches to deny Panacci a second tally. Third frame now. North York just cruising right along until Chase Spencer floats one in from the point here. It beats the OJ's number one keeper, Jet Alexander, and the JRCs had life. Trailing by a single marker, 4 minutes later, Dustin Hutton steals 2-on-1. He feeds future Michigan Wolverine Eric Ciccolini. He bulges the twine. And this one off to overtime. In the second OT, they complete the comeback. David Sherman, the Shermanator, off the post and in. And seriously, nobody saw that comeback coming as they claw back from 2 down to drop the 7th-ranked team in Canada by a 3-2 count. Okay, Newmarket in a dogfight with Aurora and Markham for first in the North Division. They were hosting Brantford, all Canes in this one. Klim Georgiev feeds Alex Touchette, and 1-0 Newmarket. Second 20, Derek Sweeney. Check out the sweet little backhand redirection in midair. Tips it home to make it 2-1 for the Canes. Final frame now. Graham McCrory will waltz in. His shot is stopped. Nicholas Cerrone there to clean up the garbage out front, though, and make it 3-0. And then 5 minutes later, another nice tip here. Adam Trotman gets stick to puck out front past Joe Merduka. And that was all she wrote as the Hurricanes continue to cruise in the north as they jockey for first place with Aurora and Markham. Okay, a West Division tilt. Brampton in a battle themselves with Georgetown and Burlington for third spot, and they were hosting Buffalo. All Admirals in the first. Beautiful passing here. Dan Burno back to Justin Vernace, and Brampton goes up 1-0. 3 minutes later, Aaron Dixon just chilling on the doorstep. No Sabres within a country mile of him, and he tips it home to make it 2-zip Admirals. Buffalo hits back in the second, though. Travis Smith actually makes a great first stop here, but Spencer Smith bangs home the second chance, and the Sabres cut the deficit in half. Brampton regains the 2-goal cushion here on the PP. Nice backdoor pass to Vernace for his second of the day as he makes it 3-1, but back come the Sabres. This is a weird one. Ty Glover nearly banks it in off Smith from a weird angle. Doesn't go, but Spencer right there to notch his second, and once again, Buffalo back to within a single goal. Fast forward to late in the third, Buffalo with the extra attacker out, and Smith out front. Are you kidding me? The Hattie is third of the game, and he sends it off to overtime. In the extra frame, though, another weird one from behind the net here is Ryan Herpy. Somehow just kind of gets it to go past Caleb Hannon. No, tough way to go down for the Sabres as they claw back from a 2-goal deficit, only to fall in OT. 4-3 Admirals is your final. Okay, OJ commitments for this week brought to you by Warrior Hockey. Warrior, official partner of the CHCH Game of the Week and the OJ today. And Keenan Eddy, the Islander from Duncan, BC, he's going home back to Vancouver Island as he commits to the University of Victoria for the 2019-20 season. Congratulations, Keenan. And OJ Trivia this week brought to you by Cool Sports. Cool, the official apparel provider to the OJHL. And this week's question is, who was last season's OJHL playoff MVP? First correct answer to our Morocco at theojhl.ca will win a cool OJ prize pack. This segment of the OJ today is brought to you by Troy Hockey Apparel. Troy, the official jersey of the OJHL. Hey folks, welcome back to the OJ today. You know, for most of the season, the Wellington Dukes were a distant fourth place in the East Division. The defending Buckland Cup champions were on the outside looking in as the top three of Cobourg, Whitby, and Trenton slugged it out. But the Dukes have been absolutely on fire lately. They'd won 8 of 10 and had managed to actually overtake Trenton for third when they faced off against Whitby last Sunday. Wellington, last season's national finalists at the RBC Cup in Chilliwack, BC. They took a beating on this day, though. Isaac Suklal destroys Frank Vitucci with the open ice hit. No scoring until the second frame. Wellington hit first, but then Greg Smith feeds Jacob DiDonelli, and it's 1-1. 4 minutes later, it's a Smitty again. Gorgeous feed, this time for Nick Lund, who's just been awesome since getting picked up from Lindsay at the trade deadline. 2-1 Fury. Late in the frame, Patty DeMaio from the point tees it up and crushes it past Logan Bateman. The home squad, 3 straight markers to lead after 40 minutes. Final frame, another Whitby new addition, Reed Webster, shot from the point. It stopped. Carson Gallagher there to finish it off and make it 4-1. And then, Bateman wants that one back. Too easy. Stick side by Derek McVeigh for a fifth. The Fury all over the Dukes on this day as they crush their divisional rivals by a 5-1 count. Okay, Georgetown has made up a lot of ground recently on Burlington out west. They're looking for more on the road here. First goal is straight out of the Twilight Zone. Up, over, and in. It goes over the keeper. Tyler Vicari getting credit for it. 1-0. Second frame. Former Oshawa General Mitchell Hewitson rips it past Matt Dunsmore. 2-0 for the red and black attack. The Cougars get one back. Andrew Salt slides it past Carson Poulin to bring them back within one. Third period, though, the Raiders shut them down for good. Big Mac, Matty McJanet, follows up on the juicy rebound and dines out. 3-1 G-Town, and then finally Bailey Malala on fire lately. 18 goals on the season for him now. He makes it 4-1 Raiders as they continue to gain ground on Burlington out west with the crucial win. Okay, this was an opportunity lost, though, however, the following night. Aurora had lost 7 straight. Coming into this one, they thought they'd got one here. Marcus Patterson driving the net, but crushes Nathan Thorkia. It's ruled no goal, and to add insult to injury, he gets 2 minutes in the sin bin for goalie interference. Off to overtime now. Take it away, Alan Corkum.
Davis says it, draws it back for Mizzy. Joseph Mizzy cuts in, takes a shot, he scores! Joseph Mizzy, the game-winning goal! He finds the back of the net, and the Tigers get the only goal of the game and defeat the Raiders 1-0 in overtime.
Yeah, big win for Aurora there. Okay, on paper, this one was a huge mismatch. Number one team in the OJ, Oakville, against the second worst, Stouffville, but the Spirit stayed with them for a bit. Down 2-0 in the second period. Paulo Battistella gets it past Chris Elliott to make it 2-1. 2 minutes later, though, Andrew Vigliatore can't smother the initial shot here. Jack Ricketts says thanks as he puts home the rebound, and it's 3-1. And then it's Blades 2-on-1, Kyle Potts to Harrison Israels, and 4-1 for Oakville. But the Spirit pushed back. Peyton Reeves just way too laissez-faire on this play. Gets stripped by Connor May over to Charlie Jeans. Nice feed, and they cut it to 4-2. 19 seconds later, Blades sloppy again, uncharacteristic, and again it's May. Nephew of former NHLer Brad May, by the way. He puts it home. And Stouffville within a single goal, but sadly for them, it was all Blades from that point on. I guess they woke up. Ryan Nicholson rips it past the keeper to make it 5-3. And then in the final 20 minutes of play, all kinds of damage. Thomas Maya tips it in, and they double their lead to 6-3. And then Ryan O'Hara parks himself out front. He redirects it into the back of the net, and they would add one more to make it an 8-3 final as the Blades cruise over the Spirit. Okay, a quick preview of the CHCH Game of the Week for next Saturday between East Division rivals Kingston and Wellington. So far, the Dukes have had their number this year. Kingston picked up their lone win in the series 2-0 back on September 20th, but all Wellington the rest of the way, including an 11-5 blowout on October 19th. Now, the Dukes, of course, are the reigning Buckland Cup champions, symbolic of OJHL supremacy. They made it all the way to the national final last year in Chilliwack before falling to the hosts in the championship. Such a great story. Wellington, the smallest junior A center in the country, yet they have a big fan base, led by the dynamic duo of Andrew Rinaldi and Killer Jr., Tyson Gilmore, son of Maple Leafs legend Dougie. Those two have combined for 110 points between them thus far. Also, defenseman Zach Ewens is one of the top young blue liners in the league. He was just listed on the NHL midterm rankings along with 4 other current OJHLers. Now, Kingston has had a rougher go of things this year, in danger of missing the playoffs, but it's still a possibility, so they'll be hungry. They're led by sniper Adam Kim, who's top 10 in league scoring, along with Andrew Suriath. Now, the Voyageurs are 3 games under 500 right now. They haven't had a losing season, though, since 1995, so there's a ton of pride on the line for these guys as we take a look at the schedule. February 9th, Kingston at Wellington, as mentioned. The 16th, Pickering at Aurora in a North Division battle. And the 23rd, we finish off with a bang. Trenton at Cobourg in an East Division tilt for supremacy. This week's OJ interview brought to you by Barnburner Hockey. Barnburner, official partner of the OJHL Game of the Week and the OJ Today. Hey everybody, welcome back to the OJ Today, and joining me now to break down all the playoff races now as we head into the final month of the regular season is broadcaster Alan Corkum. Alan, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Alex. Appreciate being back on the show.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's prime time now, baby. Down the stretch we go into February. Teams jockeying for playoff position, in some cases just fighting for their playoff lives right now. Let's start with the CHCH Game of the Week. From last Saturday, the Junior Canadians, who were hosting the North York Rangers, Toronto, of course, heavy underdog against the South-leading Rangers. But, hey, they pulled off the big comeback at the end.
Yeah, for 2 periods in that game, the North York Rangers dominated the Junior Canadians, but the only reason they hung around was the goaltending of Christian Mattiacci, and in the end, they get the 2 goals in the third and the big overtime winner by, as you like to reference him, the Shermanator, David Sherman in overtime. So a great goal and a good finish for that one, and it was definitely an entertaining game for the viewers at home on CHCH.
Well, it's funny because Alex Bloomfield and I were commenting as after they made the comeback, that 2-0 North York lead looked enormous. I don't think any of us expected that comeback, but it was a great performance. It is a fascinating battle right now between the Patriots, St. Mike's, and the Junior Canadians in the South Division, all separated by just a couple of points, all desperately trying to avoid finishing up in 4th place, of course, which would mean if they do finish in 4th, they'd have to face the Rangers in the first round.
Yeah, the team that's got really back in the thick of things in that division is the Toronto Patriots. They traded a lot of their big players away, like Dante Spaniolo and Brett Bannister, and everybody thought maybe they were throwing in the towel at that point, Alex, but it seems they got them a little bit fired up, and they've been coming on, and they're right in the thick of things with the St. Mike's Buzzers and the Junior Canadians. It's going to be a dogfight down the stretch to see who avoids playing the North York Rangers. And a side note to your game on Saturday, the Rangers won the rematch on Sunday, 4-1. Joey Maziarz with 4 points in that game, so Junior Canadians slipped a little bit in that, but we'll see how they fight back from that game.
Yeah, we move out east. The carnage continues in what might be the toughest division in all of Canadian Junior A hockey. Cobourg, Whitby, and Trenton, of course, have been vying for top spot all season long, and now the defending Buckland Cup champion Wellington Dukes, they've climbed into the thick of the battle as well, haven't they?
Yes, they have. The Dukes with a big double overtime victory last week against the Oakville Blades, a top team in the league, 3rd best in the country, so that gave them some confidence as well. And yeah, Trenton's up there. Cobourg is a little bit ahead right now, but I mean, we'll have to see what happens, and you can't count out the Whitby Fury. They've been the big surprise this year under Rob Pearson, being led by his son Luke in net, and lots of great forwards out there. You have to see what Whitby can do, but probably the team right now to beat out there is Cobourg. We'll have to see how they can hang on to the fort, but watch for a wild finish in the East as well.
Definitely. Last Saturday, the Aurora Tigers finally snapped a brutal 7-game losing streak in Georgetown. But during that time, while Newmarket closed what was once a massive gap to climb up to the top of the division as well, it's a dogfight right now.
Yeah, the Tigers got the proverbial monkey off their back with that big overtime victory thanks to their leading scorer and the league leading scorer, Joseph Mizzi. A nice shot from the point on the power play in OT, and then Luca Durante with the shutout. But that's going to be the key down the stretch, is the 3 goaltenders leading those teams. You got Durante with Aurora, you got Mitchell Weeks in Newmarket, and Andrew Albano in Markham, and they all can come up with a solid game. I think that's going to be the difference, Alex, is who can steal the most games down the stretch of those 3 teams. And I think who will come out on top in the North Division.
Really quick, Alan, what did you think of Aurora on Saturday? It's the first time you've seen them since that big losing skid. Was there anything that you saw that you could understand why they'd been having troubles in the first place that have led to this slide?
Probably a lack of scoring touch, because you see they had a few good chances there, but they just couldn't capitalize, either for Georgetown for that matter. But Aurora, with all that firepower, they just couldn't strike in the first 60 minutes of that game, and then finally Mizzi with the power play goal. So I think that's been the key, is not getting a lot of scoring. If you only score 1 or 2 goals a game, it's not going to be easy to win most nights.
Of course, they've got the OJ's leading scorer in Mitzi. The problem is the drop-off after him is absolutely massive. Finally, out west, Oakville and Buffalo are safe and sound now with their feet up, qualifying for the playoffs. But Brampton and Burlington and Georgetown are all within striking distance of each other. It'll be fascinating to watch down the stretch, as they all obviously want to avoid the spot, which means they would have to play a sudden death crossover game against Pickering.
But right now, there's only a few points separating Brampton, Burlington, and Georgetown. That's spots 3 through 5. And Georgetown have really come on since making those trades. Surprisingly, when they get rid of Hampton to North York, Josh Nixon to Oakville, they've really come on with a new purpose, and they've gained some ground. And the key for them is the games in hand they have. They can capitalize on those. Watch out for the Raiders down the stretch. They might even catch for 3rd place Burlington and Brampton. Yeah,
you mentioned, of course, that is the, I mean, first you want to just make the playoffs if you finish in 4th, but you have a really good point, though. It's just like in the South Division. Everyone wants to avoid the Rangers. Nobody wants to face the Oakville Blades in the first round of the playoffs in the West. Listen, thanks so much for joining me, buddy. Look for Alan, of course, on your TV. He's their play-by-play man. We'll see you next time, my friend.
Thank you very much, Alex. Pleasure to be on your show.
And a reminder, the annual Scotiabank Fan Favorite Award is back by popular demand for another season. Voting has commenced. The top 5 currently in alphabetical order: Ryan Bazana, Matthew Bumstead, Marcelo Pericao, Zach Sirota and Keenan Stewart. Now you can head to ojhl.ca to cast your vote, and last season set an all-time record in voting as nearly 84,000 votes were cast. This segment of the OJ Today is brought to you by Cliff Bar. Cliff Bar, the official energy bar of the OJHL. The North York Rangers loaded up at the trade deadline, adding some key pieces and making an already strong lineup that much better. This has created quite the dilemma for the rest of the South Division. Whoever finishes in fourth place will have to face the Rangers in the first round of the playoffs, a scenario about as appealing as getting a root canal. St. Mike's is one of those squads trying to avoid fourth, so getting 2 points against Brampton on Saturday was essential. The Buzzers had lost 4 of 6 coming into this tilt, so they needed to get things going, and they were killing it in the second period. Kobe Desmond gets the wraparound to go past Matthew Lukic, and he makes it 1-0 for the double blue. 5 minutes later, Ryan Alexander, just an innocent-looking wrister. Lukic can't see a thing in front of him, however. St. Mike's 2-0 advantage at the break. They collapsed in the third, though. First, it's Dan Burno just beating everyone to the punch here. Sneaks it past Jack Watson in Brampton, back to within a single goal, and then watch the sweet little pass here from Evan Stahl from his knees to Rocco Andreacci, who converts and ties it up. And then 2 minutes later, miscue by the Buzzers defenseman coming up right there, and Alexander Demevsky takes full advantage. And I'll tell you, it seemed like no 2-goal third period lead was safe in the OJ last weekend. Another comeback here as the Admirals drop the Buzzers 3-2. Okay, Markham could take sole possession of first place in the North with a win against Pickering, and they break the ice. Panthers turning it over, and Zach Sirota rips it home 1-0 for the Royals. Late in the first, though, Andrew Albano makes the initial stop. Andrew Poulias jumping all over the second chance, and the Panthers knotted up at 1 apiece. Just a minute 42 later, however, Alessio Luciani, Johnny on the spot, to bang it past Tanner Shepard. 2-1 Royals at the break. Second stanza. Royals with the man advantage. Watch as the first shot rings off the iron, and Luca Esposito is the one who fires it first. No one else knew where it was. Royals have a bit of cushion, up by a 3-1 count. Final 20 now, and the Panthers kept it close. Again, Albano makes the initial stop. Nobody clears out Ethan Doyle, though, and he pokes it in. And Cats back to within a single tally, not for long. Royals with numbers on the rush here, and watch the beautiful passing as they go tick, tack, toe, sweet. Matthew Hubbard the finish, and that was extra insurance they would end up needing, actually, because in the dying seconds, Kevin Stiles just chucks it on net from the point. In it goes. That pulled the Cats back to within 1, but that's where they ran out of time as Markham. Back in December, keep in mind, they were 13 points out of first place in the North. Not anymore. They sit in the penthouse now. Okay, a rematch of the CH game of the week the following day between North York and the JRCs. And the Rangers get revenge for the loss. No style points for the opening goal in the second period. Just kind of dribbles in. Brandon Yeamans gets credit, 1-0 NYR. 6 minutes later, though, more evidence as to why NHL scouts are just so high on Eric Ciccolini, coast to coast, and then rocks the bottle behind Eli Schiller. 1-1 after 40. Final stanza. All Rangers. Mayhew gets down to make the stop here, but Cole O'Hara following up on his own rebound to make it 2-1. North York. And then late in the period, Joey Maziarz with the point shot tipped home by Austin Brimmer, and Maziarz had a monster game incidentally. 4 points for the blue liner, and that made it 3-1 Rangers. Final minute, Joey working hard for it, and it pays off as he gets the empty netter. 1 goal, 3 assists on the day as the Rangers avenge their overtime loss to the JRCs from the day before, dropping them 4-1. Okay, OJ standings now brought to you by Jostens, the official ring and awards provider to the OJHL. As we start things off in the West, Oakville has clinched the division title, but look at Brampton, Burlington, and Georgetown in a vicious dogfight there. To the north we move. Markham, Newmarket, and Aurora have all qualified for the postseason now, followed by Pickering and Stouffville. In the south, North York just a massive lead over the Pats, but the Patriots, St. Mike's, and the Canadians, that's a crazy battle going on as well between them. And in the east, Cobourg, Whitby, and Trenton still jockeying for first. Wellington still has a shot as well, followed by Kingston and the Lindsay Muskies. The Chaos Top 5 brought to you by Chaos, the official headwear provider to the Ontario Junior Hockey League. Number 5, last Saturday, Christian Mariachi robbing Adam Panacci of the Rangers. One of 55 saves he made on the day as the JRCs upset powerful North York. Number 4, Stouffville against Oakville. Connor May chases down and strips Peyton Reeves of the puck, and beautiful backhand feed for Charlie Jeans, who slides it home. Rough night for the Spirit, but that one was pretty sweet. Number 3, Aurora in Georgetown. Overtime. Mr. Everything for the Tigers. Joseph Mitzi rips it past Nathan Torkia for the winner. And that also snapped the Cats' 7-game losing streak. Number 2, Markham against Pickering. Sublime passing. Especially the last one here. Tic-tac-toe and Matthew Hubbard, the finish. As with the win, the Royals take over first place in the North. And number 1, the future Michigan Wolverine, the guy that's attracting so much attention from NHL scouts, 17-year-old stud Eric Ciccolini, coast to coast, shredding the veteran Leyden North York Rangers. This guy just keeps getting better and better with each game. Gorgeous. And that is our Chaos Play of the Week. And that's all the time we've got for this week. But just remember, to keep up to date with the league, you can always head to ojhl.ca. And of course, all of your social media options are right there for you to check out as well. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week.